Well, I hope you like katanas, little boy. New patch, Poggies. As always, Miyazaki's Shadow dropped a patch at 4 AM when we were sleeping, and now we're rushing this patch video for you. So without further ado, let's get right into the damn thing.
¡Síganme los buenos!
The first nerf right off the bat goes to my big simp bro and his femboy owner. He will now behave differently at the beginning of that battle, allowing you to throw in a buff or two after the fog wall. The damage of some attacks has been decreased, as well as the stamina damage when blocking them. The range of non-weapon attacks has decreased, and the visibility of some of his moves has been made more clear. I sincerely cannot understand why Miyazaki is so adamant with nerfing PvE bosses. Like, isn't the idea to overcome the challenge? Anyway, I suppose Redditors finally got their wish. For the PvP exclusive balance adjustments, few things were touched, but they're still very significant changes. The damage of backhand blades, dual spears, and the parter has been decreased against other players. Parter still retains its asinine true combo, though. Both the spread crossbow and the scattershot throw Ash of War are now unable to deal headshots. For those of you who don't know, headshots will cause a heavy stagger on the gamer receiving it. Now, it doesn't matter how many arrows you stack on the enemy's melon, headshots will simply not happen. Poise damage of Discus Hurl, the Ash of War of the Smith script shield, has been reduced to 0. Now this obnoxious thing won't ever stagger you, no matter what. The Ash of War of Rakshasa's Great Katana received a poise nerf on the swings subsequent to the first one. Now Colossal swords will be able to break the poise of a weed cutter user. The following changes will affect both PvE and PvP. Unlike the previous ones, the following weapon types have received an attack speed buff on their uncharged heavy attacks. Smith script daggers received another range buff, and the change is very noticeable. Sadly though, they're still pretty garbage. Some weapons receive so much extra attack speed on their heavy attacks that now their heavy attacks are faster than their light attacks. Examples of this are the Great Sword, the heavy thrusting swords, axes, Rakshasa's Great Katana. And while we can't be for sure, we believe that Guts' Greatsword now has the same speed as light attacks on their heavy attack. On an additional note, the heavy attack of the one-handed Nagakiba is so goddamn fast that it seems like a bad joke. Further testing will be done to see if it can true combo with other weapons. True combos have been eliminated when using Great Katanas on the offhand, as attack cancelling is now slower. The speed of Colossal weapons, as well as their forward momentum, has been increased on their first light attack, and these buffs are very considerable. At this point, Colossal swords are quickly getting back into the meta. Martial arts have received a pretty generous damage buff on top of the attack speed buffs. If built properly with the correct talismans and add-ons, they can now deal insane amounts of damage. They may just be viable now. Small and medium shields have received a damage negation and guard boost buff all across the board. These changes are very noticeable, both in action and when looking at the numbers of the shields in the info section. This now makes some shields like the Twin Bird Kite Shield incredibly good. Experimentation is further needed, of course. Swift Spear has received a complete moveset overhaul, as well as receiving attack cancel nerfs for some reason. The weapon is pretty interesting right now, but nothing spectacular to be honest. Rellana's cameo, Talisman, has received a massive buff, and when we say massive, we mean it. Like Tyrannosaurus Balls massive. The damage has been increased and the time required for the buff activation has been shortened. As you saw at the beginning of the video, this allows for hold-type Ashes of War to do this kind of shit. Further experimentation will be done to see how far this damage can be boosted, but as you can see, yeah, it's pretty bonkers. The speed of the Sword of Light and Sword of Darkness Ashes of War has been improved. And it's most noticeable on the Sword of Light. Dynastic Sickleplay, the Ash of War of the Obsidian Lamina, received quite a number of buffs. Sadly, the Ash of War is still pretty bad and simply not worth over more potent stuff. Shield Strike received what can basically be considered a speed nerf, removing the true combo it had with some weapon types. Rellana's Twin Blades received numerous buffs to its Ash of War, but as you may guess, it's still pretty bad in PvP. It may be quite better in PvE though. Rellana's Twin Moons received a couple of buffs on the first and second attacks, but nothing spectacular. The same can be said for Thorns, Bloom, Divine Bird Feathers,
This is worthless.
Furious Blade of Ansbach, Midra's Flame of Frenzy, and Bale's Flame Lightning. This last one is a bit more interesting in terms of damage and also possesses hyper armor. But good luck hitting that thing. Devonia's Vortex received major buffs that most likely makes it super viable in invasions now. The rest of the patch is a bunch of bug fixes that I'm pretty sure no one noticed before, so we don't really care about them now either. And with that, the patch is complete. What's your opinion on it? Let us know in the comments below if you like it, hate it, or simply don't give a shit about it. If we're lucky enough, this patch probably won't have any weird surprises. Oh, for fuck.